Wednesday night, Accor Stadium. It's a dead rubber, we know that, but Origin's Origin, like I always say, and it doesn't matter whether it's a dead rubber or a series decider. There's plenty of stink into this one. So a gut feel, Matty, a gut feel a couple of days out. We know the team, we know all the drama, we know the all that stuff that's been going on. What's your feel?
Matty, I'm not bubbling with optimism, but look, I do like some of the changes. I do feel there's been a lot of chopping and changing, a little too much. But I like Keon Kalamatangi coming into the side. He's a guy, just the way he plays, I think that you sort of get the feeling he's going to be there for a long time. Of course, Cody Walker, I would have had him in first game. That left side, he's the best left side playmaker in the competition alongside Cameron Munster. And I'm really keen to see how he operates with Liam Martin and in particular Bradman Best. From a Newcastle point of view, this is having Bradman in the side is just a huge bonus. If Bradman can get there Wednesday night and have a great game of football or have a good account of himself, I think that'll be a turning point in his career, because Bradman, when I say turning point, he's had a good season, Bradman, but as far as potential and what he's capable of, we haven't seen near the best of him. So this is a great opportunity for him. Look, Matty, the very fact that it's played in Sydney, historically Sydney State of Origin's a low-scoring affair, so look, I'm hoping we can grind out a win. We can defend our way to victory. When you look at the two camps, it's been very similar to game 1 and 2. The Queenslanders look very relaxed, and the New South Wales team, particularly the coaching staff, look very tense.
Yeah, and there's a lot riding on it. Geez, there's been a lot of emotion in this one. I mean, we're going to miss out a lot of that emotion because we won't hear from the players pre-match or during the match or post-match anyway. But that's an entirely different story. So New South Wales in particular need to go in search of points here. What type of play do you see from New South Wales? How much will the viewer notice the difference with Best there, with Cody Walker there, with Liam Martin in the starting lineup, Cameron Murray in the starting lineup?
Yeah, there's some. Look, what you'll see a little bit as far as Cody Walker's concerned, Cody's got two aspects of his game. One is he's a brilliant instinctive player. Instinctive players suit State of Origin because they can play at high tempo, and they watch and they react. So what you'll see with Cody, if New South Wales start to win the yardage battle, you'll start to see Damien Cook get at a dummy half, and that'll trigger Cody. The other aspect with Cody is he likes to set the play, push the forwards past the far post, and come back with his two-pass sequences, those little block formations that he's very good at. So you'll see a lot of that from New South Wales. The bottom line, Matty, is with State of Origin, you've just got to win the yardage battle. It's about the forwards. If you can win the yardage battle and put yourself in position for attacking kicks, particularly, as I said before, in New South Wales where the ball's a little slippery, hard to push the ball around the park, then you put yourself with a good chance to win the football game.
How much do Queensland play differently? I mean, they've virtually been untouched. Flegler's not there because of injury. Reece Walsh is not there because of suspension. Do they need to change, Matty, what they've been doing? They've got their principles, how they like to play in place, Matty. I think naturally what you'll see, I think they'll centralise their attack a little bit more. That's AJ Brimson's go. AJ isn't the sort of player that you set long field block formations and he's gonna burn defenders on the outside like Reece Walsh can. His gift, AJ, is his speed and his footwork and his strength, just zipping through that middle. So I think you'll see with Queensland more centralised attack. The battle of the benches then, the interchange benches. I mean, a few changes again to the New South Wales bench in particular, and some interesting selections there. We see Isaiah Yeo drop back to the number 14 position. Who wins the battle of the benches, and how do you use each bench?
I like Yeo coming off the bench. I think it'll keep him out of the smash and crash early. And I think, I believe in the first two games, we've started our games which were a little bit too pass-centric, if that makes sense. We're sort of pushing the ball towards the grandstands instead of really knuckling down, centralising, winning the yardage battle. So Yeo coming off the bench and sort of giving us a little bit of football off the bench as the game goes on, that's a good move. Cameron Murray just gives us more punch in the middle early in the game.
So
if it comes down to the crunch on Wednesday night, and there's a go-to player, I'm pretty sure I know your go-to player from the Queensland side of things. I mean, you've just got to go to Cameron Munster, don't you? But who are your go-to players? If it's coming down to the crunch, somebody needs to step up.
Cody, I think Cody Walker from New South Wales perspective. I think this is his chance for Cody. He knows this is his last throw at the stumps as far as state of origin concerned. You know, if he needs a big game to be picked next year, I think it'll be Cody Walker.
Oh, morning, Matthews. Guys, this is a little bit of Matthew Johns. If I could ask you a couple of questions, mate, about the players in this association. Do all the players have to be members of the player association?
I believe so. I think what it would be, my understanding was you can opt out, but you've got to make that decision rather than opting in, because the NRL actually pay for their membership. That's part of the collective bargaining agreement, or the agreement that I think they tip in. It was $3 million. They got reduced to $2 million during COVID. And this is part of the conflict. I think Clint wants it to go up to $4 million. But yeah, they're part of the union. Do they know what this is all about? Well, I had a yarn to about half a dozen players rang around on the Friday, and one player knew what it was about. The rest of them were completely in the dark. I get that. Look, I mean, people will say that's the reason why you have delegates. I get that, but at the moment, and if you want to go into it, Matty, the thing about it is with this, I mean, boycotting, not allowing the players to talk to the broadcaster. Look, I didn't miss it over the course of the weekend. Probably what I missed, I think fans, for instance, Dogs fans would have loved to have heard from Toby Sexton. Yeah. To listen, to talk about, he arrives at Belmore on a Monday or a Tuesday and suddenly puts a fantastic performance in, and for that win over South. So I'd love to have heard from young guys who made their debut over the course of the weekend. This was about exerting pressure on the NRL through the broadcaster. Now, my understanding is the broadcaster won't be exerting pressure on the NRL. So my thing is, okay, what's next? And the next step is strike action. That would be, in my opinion, that'd be catastrophic for the season, and I think it'd be bad for the players. The relationship between the fans and the players, I think, has been fantastic this year. I think there's a respect towards the players, a real appreciation of the product, and to do this, I think it'll just get the fans offside. Now, this whole thing is not just now the NRL versus the players or the RLPA. This has become Andrew Abdo versus Clint Newton. Right, it's got personal. Now, they've brought in two independents to try to sort this out. My understanding was Hugh Marks was brought in. He basically quit. He quit through boredom. That it just went around and around in circles. He said, mate, this is not going to be sorted. I don't know, Matty. I don't know what's next.
Yeah, I don't know how they're going to resolve it. Just quickly, Jim, did you have another question on this issue?
Look, well, I do. I'm like, about the player managers. Sorry, what involvement have they got with the Players Association? I mean, players need managers to sign these contracts and things like that. So surely there must be some kind of relationship there with the player management as well. I mean, look, we're going into real murky stuff, and like you said, unfortunately, we know where the next one's going. I have one issue with you, Matthews, 100%, and where is the Players Association when it comes to players' etiquette on the ground?
Look, I am with you 100%. I said this on the broadcast the other night. In my opinion, the RLPA would have a hell of a lot more credibility if they come out in the middle of the year and said, hey, listen, if these hip drops that players are doing on their fellow professionals, this has got to stop, or we will take action against a member, because I think that is the most important thing as far as player welfare is concerned. It's not getting your 9 weeks vacation at the end of the year. That's important. I get it. But the biggest thing is player safety are cannonball tackles, hip drop tackles, etc., etc. And when we see these going on and players have been found guilty of it, we don't hear from the RLPA.
Thanks, Jim. Appreciate that call. We can discuss that even in more detail throughout the course of the morning, because it is an issue. It's been on our agenda this morning. I'm with you. I had a pretty heated debate with Clint Newton last week Matty, on this program, and I've got respect and all that kind of stuff, and I actually, made sure that I hopefully wasn't rude and disrespectful, but for the life of me, I cannot understand what a media blackout, what impact that is going to have on furthering this deal down the table, because to me, it hardly puts a ripple through the NRL. The broadcasters will ride it out, and I unfortunately think it puts the players in a really bad position, because it says to the public, the players aren't putting really anything on the line. I mean, what do they stand for in this? Are they absolutely 100% behind it? Because if they are, they're going to have to put something really big on the line.
And see, Matty, I'm a union man. I think unions are essential in a workplace. My dad was a really strong union man. He was involved with the mine workers union for years and years. I believe the players deserve say and they deserve sway. But I just think this course of action is doing them a disservice. And the thing about it is, I'm a pro player. I mean, bloody hell, I've got skin in the game. So, I've got blood in the game. I've got 2 blokes in the game. Granted, on minimum pay. I'd like a little increase there, but so I can stop putting my hand in my pocket.
So you've got blood, skin, and money in the game. That's
I've got it all going on.
Yeah. Unfortunately, also, I do think that, and this shouldn't be part of it, but it is. The messaging is very, very convoluted.
Yes.
If you want to win the public war, you have to make your messaging really crystal clear. And they've made it very clear it's not a pay war, but I think that they're getting tied up in messaging. And I also think they're getting beaten in that department if you wanted to go head-to-head.